Right now, the National Weather Desk, severe storms continue to strike across the country with tornadoes damaging homes and upending lives.
Zoe, get in here! Zoe! Zoe!
With howling winds and lightning strikes, pounding rains, flooded highways, and now communities starting the long road to recovery.
Somehow my mother lived through that. I don't know how.
Landslides continue to be a problem in western North Carolina. Hurricane Helene probably played a role.
Because the soil got loosened during Helene.
Crews are now clearing snow from one of the most scenic drives in the nation.
Late winter storms, late avalanches, a lot of rock cleanup.
Why are so many turtles being cold stunned this year?
Could be that turtles are hanging out in this area for longer as the waters get colder.
And how a meteorologist is using AI and her digital twin to streamline weather communication.
This is my digital twin, releasing a watch. This is the data you need to know. We'll keep you updated on the alerts.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. This morning we're following cleanup and recovery efforts across multiple states following days of tornadoes and severe storms. Today we have images, videos, and stories of survival from Colorado to Kentucky, even as portions of the country prepare for even more dangerous weather. Today's threat is focused on the mid and deep south. The Storm Prediction Center issued a 3 out of 5 risk for much of Kentucky, Tennessee, and parts of surrounding states. Strong tornadoes, damaging winds, and severe hail are all possible. This threat comes as communities are still recovering from recent storms. That's what the wind looked and sounded like as it roared through an RV park in Oklahoma on Monday. It knocked down many trees and power lines, making many roads impassable. And that's what it looks like when lightning strikes a police car. This happened just south of Oklahoma City. No one was hurt, but it's a very good reminder about just how dangerous lightning can be. In Arkansas, an apparent tornado ripped the roof off a building near Fayetteville. Debris was scattered along many roads. There was also significant flooding on local roads. Police say they had to rescue several drivers who became stranded in the rising water. Flooding was also a problem in Missouri. This is Interstate 35 near Kansas City. You can see people driving through the water that appears to come up to the bottom of some doors. Remember, it's never a good idea to drive through flood waters. In Colorado, several tornadoes caused damage in communities Sunday night. At least 2 touched down in small rural towns east of Denver. Dozens of homes are damaged. You can see the extensive damage to this house right here with most of the windows blown out. The twister also overturned multiple cars. No one was hurt. A small Kansas town is also cleaning up following a Sunday tornado. This bird's eye view shows you the damage to homes and trees from this violent twister. The video from the ground shows homes with just a few walls still standing and most of everything that was inside now destroyed.
Zoe, get in here! Zoe! Zoe! Zoe!
And this home video shows northwestern Kentucky family taking shelter in a closet as a tornado roared through Friday night. When they emerged from that closet, they found the tornado destroyed most of their home. The family survived. Sadly, at least 19 people in Kentucky lost their lives in the storm. Most of the town of London. Katie Amrine spoke with tornado survivors as they began cleanup efforts.
Shane Foister's mom, Judy, was at home when a tornado blew through her house Friday night. And while she's doing okay, the same can't be said for her home.
Somehow my mother lived through that.
Shane grew up on Hawkins Road before moving to Knoxville. His parents stayed here for nearly 50 years. Not much is left from the home after the tornado, but his late father's guitar made it out.
It's sitting in there right next to a bunch of things that got destroyed.
His mother, Judy, was in her bedroom when the tornado hit. She and her cats then took cover in her bathroom, along with her neighbors, when a second tornado was set to hit. Fortunately, it never did.
I don't know how they lived. If you look at his house, I guess that's something to be thankful for.
Parts of Texas had scary moments as well when a tornado touched down in the city of Gordon Sunday night. That's located between Dallas and Abilene. Brianna Gibbons has more.
Them suckers were in here. It was a huge, big, gray-black cloud. It was scary. I didn't know what was going on. I never felt a tornado. They called it the dead man walking. That's what they called it.
They call it that because the tornado had 2 vortexes. Another resident in the area said he went to go look outside, but because the winds were so strong, when he went to go back in, he couldn't get his door to open. So he sat on his front porch during the storm.
I didn't actually see the tornado itself because it was raining so hard that I could feel the winds from it. That, and like I said, I kept pushing against the door trying to get in and couldn't.
Another resident said her family ran to the school to hide in the storm shelters.
The roof of the school was like lifted up and started flooding and everything. It was very scary. We didn't even know it was so loud. We couldn't even hear each other talk. It was very scary, and we just saw trees blow over and the window or the AC units on top of the school blew off. And so water just started pouring everywhere.
The EF1 tornado that hit this area had winds of up to 105 miles per hour, causing trees to be uprooted, power lines down, and damage to many buildings.
Really, we're lucky because there's not that much. I mean, there's some houses that got damage to them, but no lost lives. That's the main thing.
Helene ravaged a chunk of the country nearly 8 months ago, including western North Carolina. But could the storm have played a role in Sunday night's landslide? Rex Hodge has details.
NCDOT says it's the same area that had a small landslide in the past week. Sunday night's slide happened about 7:30, forcing the closure of the right westbound lane, done, the DOT says, out of an abundance of caution. A small amount of debris, some rocks the size of a baseball, were cleared with traffic continuing in the left lane. A geotechnical unit will conduct a thorough examination, the right lane reopening when the area is deemed safe. The DOT believes recent heavy rainfall likely played a role in triggering the slide. Landslide experts agree, even pointing to a possible Helene factor.
There are places in the mountains that are still loose, either because of a landslide that happened during Helene or because the soil got loosened during Helene. And those areas could be more likely to be triggered during additional heavy rains.
Appalachian landslide consultant Jennifer Bauer says a recent minor earthquake could have played a role too. She says what is for sure is that Helene changed pathways for stormwater, possibly placing it onto slopes not designed to hold water. She says they in turn could become unstable and slide.
Snow has mostly melted in Montana, but not at higher elevations. Sadie Risen went along with plow crews as they cleared one of the most scenic drives in the country, the Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park.
Going to the Sun Road is a highlight of Glacier National Park, but while roads at the bottom of the park are nearly dried up top near Logan Pass is still buried in multiple feet of snow. Multiple factors go into getting the road ready for visitors.
And that's due to all the guard logs, late winter storms, late avalanches, a lot of rock cleanup, and mainly it's the weather that lets us know when we can open the road.
The team holds daily safety briefings while plowing the narrow road.
We brief the road crew every morning because they're the ones that are working up the road every day. And so we provide a daily briefing, avalanche briefing for them every morning.
Among the hazards crews face and also cleanup are avalanches.
On average, we probably have, I'd say anywhere from probably 15 to 30 avalanches hit the road every year.
And experts tell me the weather at the top of Logan Pass can change instantly.
I think one of the most important things that, for folks to recognize is that in the valley it can be really warm and sunny. There's no snow, but up here it's very, very different.
When Going to the Sun Road fully opens, crews remind drivers there will be some spots with snow, so be safe and have fun while you're visiting.
Just when you're up, be safe, enjoy it, enjoy the park, but be cautious around all the snow that you see.
No date is set for when the road will be fully open.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll look at how AI avatars are changing the future of weather forecasting, and will help you better understand severe weather alerts.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A weekend of strong weather is spilling into the new week. Southeast of Tulsa, Oklahoma, high winds got a hold of this tree at Fort Gibson. Along with high winds and lightning, some areas were pelted with hail. Meanwhile, this was the Sunday scene captured around Mount Shasta, lenticular clouds capping off the summit, and in Montana, a weekend view of the Northern Lights.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
The Virginia Aquarium is reporting a record-breaking year for cold-stunned turtle rescues. Turtles are generally unable to move once temperatures drop below 50 degrees. Most will die without help. Beverly Kidd shows us why the work of the aquarium's stranding response team is so important.
It's always an upbeat and exciting day when a rescued sea turtle gets to go back home. It's been a long road to recovery for Basset Hound the turtle. It was found along the banks of the Elizabeth River in Portsmouth in January.
Somebody found the turtle and called our 24-hour stranding hotline to report the turtle. We got photos to confirm that it was a live sea turtle, and then our team went out to respond.
Stranding and research scientist Joanna Daniel of the Virginia Aquarium tells me that Basset Hound was cold stunned. That's when turtles get too cold and are unable to move. They become lethargic, weak, and can't swim. Most cold stunned turtles will die without help.
This is a record-breaking year for us and for some other facilities around the East Coast as well. I'm not totally sure why that could be. It could be that turtles are hanging out in this area for longer as the waters get colder.
77 rescues this season, which starts in November and runs through January. That's more than double the number of cold-stunned turtles from last year.
The Eastern Shore is a bit of a hotspot for cold-stunned turtles that are trying to leave the bay and aren't able to get out to the open ocean in time to head south.
And that's what apparently happened to this young terrapin. But after being slowly warmed up, getting some IV fluids, and a round of antibiotics, he or she is going to swim the Atlantic once again.
And you were saying that you don't really know if it's a he or a she. Why is that?
Right, so before they reach sexual maturity, which happens at around 25 years of age, you can't tell externally. They look the exact same, males and females.
Like humans, their average life expectancy is about 80 years. And now little Basset Hound has a better shot at reaching that ripe old age.
At Lake Winnebago in Wisconsin, lake flies are bugging people, but there is a beneficial side. Andrew Mertens reports.
Like clockwork, a notorious pest for residents near Lake Winnebago has returned.
Part of living here, and it's such a short amount of time, I get over it pretty fast.
Each year, lake flies return to the area, typically around Mother's Day. They're not deterring Schoenecker from completing her yard work.
I cover myself head to toe, and even at that, they'll fly up under my hat and behind my glasses, and that's very irritating when you're trying to get your yard work done.
Wind direction and temperature play a factor in where the flies are most prevalent. Lake flies have made the mornings a bit of a hassle as Tara Hansen leaves for work.
Monday morning, we woke up and the windows were covered and our vehicles were covered, and it's swatting them away. You can hear them buzzing in the air.
While they may be a pest that can cover your home and other objects, experts and residents alike understand how the lake flies benefit other living beings like birds and fish.
One of the reasons that the lake sturgeon fishery is so productive is because Lake Winnebago is productive, and there's lots and lots of these lake flies. Again, in immature forms where sturgeon can feed on them.
So you kind of balance the fact that you have stinky, noisy, annoying lake flies at this time of year, but in the end, you know what the benefit is to the environment and to the ecology of the lake.
The lake flies are also just another sign warmer days are ahead.
Summer is nearly a month away, but some parts of the country have already seen sweltering temperatures. Meteorologist Chris Suchan explains how our bodies keep us cool and how quickly the heat can become dangerous.
Record hot temperatures have already occurred in the country, and we have many more months ahead of us of some blistering hot weather. So the heat index, you're going to hear about a lot, and it's connected to your sweat. Here's how. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan to explain. Your core body temperature, 98.6 degrees. Your body temperature climbs when you're outdoors, whether it's work or you're outdoors playing. This creates a scenario where your body attempts to cool itself, and that's through the process of sweat. It's released to your skin. The water from the sweat evaporates. That's evaporative cooling. It's drawing heat out from your body. And the drier the air is, the more efficient that process. But when it's really thick humidity, it feels sticky to you because your body's sweat is not able to evaporate as efficiently. It makes it feel warmer to you. That is the heat index. It's a big mathematical equation but it's an equation designed to give you an idea of what your body thinks the temperature is based on your efficiency to sweat. One other quick little tidbit here for you. Be very careful through the upcoming summer months, late spring into the summer months. Look before you lock your vehicle. Air temperature at 95 degrees. You see it quickly intensifies the heat inside your vehicle 30 to 60 minutes from about 130 to almost 140 degrees at an air temperature of 95. And it doesn't take much to distract, so look before you lock when you're traveling with little ones and pets.
Artificial intelligence is already impacting the weather industry by making forecasts more accurate, but now it's also being used to share that information via a meteorologist avatar. Emily Gracie sat down with Amy Freeze to find out how she is using a digital twin to streamline weather communication.
We developed, if you trigger a watch, the National Weather Service triggers a watch, SPCs put out severe weather, then they trigger a watch for the day, thunderstorm watch or tornado watch. As soon as that triggers, the avatar grabs the data, makes a graphic, makes a script for it, condenses it, and releases it in less than 45 seconds post the watch. So when you think about it, for us, that's a really quick reaction. Most of the time we're like, okay, can we get the cameras ready? Come on, come on, come on. So to have that could trigger out, and it's basically a digital twin. There's no joke. Like, I'm not trying to trick someone, it's me. It's like, hey, this is my digital twin, releasing a watch. This is the data you need to know. We'll keep you updated on the alerts.
How does one go about creating an avatar of themselves? What's the process like there? Is it like 1,000 cameras pointed at you?
The first time I made an avatar, I did it in front of a green curtain that I bought on Amazon. So I just said, let me try this and see what it was like. It gradually changed from that. You can make an avatar in like under 5 minutes. The more time you spend in filming yourself, the better the output will be.
There's going to be backlash either way, right? But like the backlash from the weather community of somebody who has no weather background doing this and attempting this versus somebody with your background and your just the time that you've spent in weather communication doing it. I think if somebody's going to pave the way, it's got to be someone like you.
I've been doing weather for more than 2 decades. I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize my reputation or the things that I've worked hard for. So I've applied that sort of responsibility and sort of that authenticity that I want to have to it. And I'm still developing that. I'm still trying to do the best I can with that. But I will say this. I promise you, embracing the change, embracing technology is the way to continue your longevity in the career, in this industry. The more you resist change, the quicker you're going to get left behind.
To hear more from Amy about this new technology, check out this week's episode of our podcast, Off the Radar. You'll also hear from another broadcast meteorologist about her dramatically different experience with generative AI. You can find Off the Radar anywhere you listen to your podcasts. As we head to break, a sunrise view along the island of Tobago.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Severe weather can be a life-threatening situation. It's important to stay alert when bad weather strikes, especially at night. Rachel Myers tells us more.
Flash flood warnings, hurricane warnings, tornado warnings, or severe thunderstorm warnings. These are alerts you'd want to know about. Eric Hayden with the National Weather Service is the warning coordination meteorologist for our area. Hayden stresses that severe weather can often move through at night, emphasizing the need for an alert system that can wake you.
That's our biggest concern because folks are sleeping, they're upstairs, they can't go down to shelter if they're not aware that the weather's headed their way.
That would wake you up. A NOAA weather radio is a reliable way to bring your attention to severe weather danger. Another way to receive warnings.
Wireless emergency alerts that you'll get on your phone for the big stuff, flash floods and tornadoes. So make sure this is on at night.
Make sure these wireless emergency alerts are turned on in your phone's settings.
Looking for more content just like this? Check us out on social media. We post content from our team of 200 meteorologists across the country. Just search the National Weather Desk on your favorite social media platforms. We'll be right back.